They say to truly understand an event, you have to walk in its shadow. For decades, the name Donald Trump has dominated headlines, sparking outrage, loyalty, and endless debate. But what if everything you think you know is just the surface? Imagine stepping beyond the flashing cameras, past the rally chants, the controversies, the media storms. What if there's a forgotten moment, a decision, a private conversation that quietly reshaped not just his life, but the course of history itself? This isn't about politics. This is about the man behind the legend. He's an architect, a disruptor, an enigma, seen from a perspective you were never meant to see. The story you're about to hear, it's going to make you question everything. So, ready for a wild, true story? All right, let's dive into the fascinating, often controversial, and undeniably impactful journey of Donald John Trump. Born June 14, 1946, he's an American politician, media personality, and businessman who's about to be the 47th President of the United States after serving as the 45th from 2017 to 2021. Hailing from a wealthy New York City family, Trump earned his economics degree from the University of Pennsylvania in 1968. By 1971, he was president of his family's real estate business, rebranding it as the Trump Organization. That's when things really took off. He started acquiring and building skyscrapers, hotels, casinos, and golf courses, always with that unmistakable Trump name. He wasn't afraid to launch side ventures, often licensing his name. Now, it's worth noting he did file for 6 business bankruptcies in the 1990s and 2000s, a less glamorous part of his business story. But then came his game changer for public fame, The Apprentice. From 2004 to 2015, he hosted the reality TV show, really solidifying his image as a billionaire mogul. Presenting himself as a political outsider, Trump shook up the establishment, winning the 2016 presidential election against Democratic nominee Hillary Clinton. His first presidency was a whirlwind. He imposed a travel ban on several Muslim-majority countries, pushed for an expanded Mexico-United States border wall, and implemented a family separation policy at the border. Domestically, he rolled back environmental and business regulations, signed the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, and appointed 3 Supreme Court justices. On the world stage, Trump withdrew the U.S. from major agreements on climate, trade, and Iran's nuclear program, and ignited a trade war with China. Then 2020 brought the COVID-19 pandemic. He often downplayed its severity, contradicted health officials, but did sign the CARES Act. After losing the 2020 election to Joe Biden, Trump launched an unprecedented effort to overturn the results, culminating in the shocking January 6th Capitol attack in 2021. He faced impeachment twice, in 2019 for abuse of power and obstruction of Congress, and in 2021 for incitement of insurrection. The Senate acquitted him both times. Fast forward to 2023, Trump was found liable in civil cases for sexual abuse and defamation and for business fraud. Then, in 2024, he made history, becoming the first U.S. president convicted of a felony, found guilty on 34 counts of falsifying business records. But the political journey didn't stop there. After winning the 2024 presidential election against Vice President Kamala Harris, he received a discharge in his criminal case. Crucially, 2 federal felony indictments against him for retention of classified documents and obstruction of the 2020 election were dismissed without prejudice. Now, in his second presidency, Trump quickly initiated mass layoffs of federal workers. He's imposed tariffs on nearly all countries at levels not seen since the Great Depression and signed the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. His administration's actions, including targeting political opponents and civil society, policies affecting transgender people, mass immigrant deportations, and extensive use of executive orders, have already sparked over 550 lawsuits challenging their legality. Since 2015, Trump's leadership and political agenda, often called Trumpism, have dramatically reshaped the Republican Party's identity. Many of his comments and actions have been characterized as racist or misogynistic. He's also known for making many false or misleading statements during his campaigns and presidency to a degree unprecedented in American politics. He frequently promotes conspiracy theories. Researchers have described his actions as authoritarian and contributing to democratic backsliding. After his first term, scholars and historians ranked him as one of the worst presidents in American history. Let's quickly rewind to his business roots. Starting in 1968, Trump worked at Trump Management, his father's real estate company, managing middle-class apartment complexes. He focused on rent collection and repairs for about 5 years. He wanted to expand into Manhattan, but his father preferred the outer boroughs. In 1971, he made the move to Manhattan, and that year his father made him president with himself as chairman. Trump began using the Trump Organization as the umbrella for their various corporate names. Roy Cohn, a powerful and controversial figure, became Trump's most important early influence after his father, serving as his fixer, lawyer, and mentor for 13 years. Cohn taught Trump to view life transactionally. In 1973, Cohn helped Trump countersue the U.S. government over charges that his properties discriminated against black applicants. The case settled with a consent decree agreeing to desegregate, though the Trumps later faced court again for violating it. Cohn, with his alleged mafia connections, also helped Trump projects by controlling construction unions.
Trump has shown a propensity for litigation, regardless of outcome or cost. Even when he lost, he often described it as a win. By 2018, he had been involved in over 4,000 lawsuits, liens, and other filings, often facing claims of non-payment from employees, contractors, and even his own attorneys. Between 1991 and 2009, 6 of his businesses, including the Plaza Hotel and Atlantic City casinos, filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection. In 1985, Trump acquired the Mar-a-Lago estate in Palm Beach, Florida, converting it into a private club in 1995 while maintaining a private residence there. He declared it his primary residence in 2019. He also began building and buying golf courses in 1999, owning 17 by 2016. Trump gained public attention in 1978 with the renovation of the derelict Commodore Hotel, adjacent to Grand Central Terminal. With significant financial backing and tax abatements, it reopened as the Grand Hyatt in 1980. That same year, he got rights to develop Trump Tower, which became the headquarters of the Trump Corporation and his primary residence until 2019. Regarding his legal and political history, between 1991 and 2009, his over-leveraged hotel and casino businesses filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy 6 times. During the 1980s, over 70 banks had lent Trump $4 billion. After his corporate bankruptcies, most major banks, except Deutsche Bank, stopped lending to him. After the January 6th Capitol attack, Deutsche Bank also decided to sever ties. His political affiliations have shifted over the years: Republican, Independence Party, Democrat, then back to Republican, then unaffiliated, and finally Republican again in 2012. He first tested the political waters in 1987 with full-page newspaper ads sharing his views on foreign policy and the federal deficit. In 1988, he even approached Lee Atwater, asking to be considered as George H.W. Bush's running mate, a request Bush found strange and unbelievable. Trump was briefly a candidate in the 2000 Reform Party presidential primaries and considered challenging President Obama in 2012 before ultimately deciding not to run. His inauguration on January 20, 2017, was met the next day by the massive women's marches, with an estimated 2.6 million people protesting worldwide. In his first week, he signed 6 executive orders, including steps to repeal Obamacare, withdraw from the Trans-Pacific Partnership, advance pipelines, and plan the border wall. During his first term, Trump continued to profit from his businesses, even as his administration's policies affected them. He took office amidst the longest economic expansion in American history, which ended with the COVID-19 recession. The 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act reduced taxes for businesses and individuals. Under Trump, the federal budget deficit increased significantly, and the U.S. national debt hit a post-World War II high. Trump rejects the scientific consensus on climate change. He significantly reduced funding for renewable energy research, reversed Obama-era climate policies, and withdrew the U.S. from the Paris Agreement, making the U.S. the only nation not to ratify it. He aimed to boost fossil fuel production and exports and rolled back over 100 federal environmental regulations. His administration dismantled federal regulations across various sectors, often after requests from regulated industries. He sought to repeal and replace the Affordable Care Act, scaling back its implementation and reducing funding for enrollment promotion. He signed legislation to increase funding for opioid treatments, but faced criticism for lacking a concrete strategy. His administration also took an anti-marijuana stance, revoked Obama-era protections for LGBTQ+ people, and oversaw 13 federal executions, more than in the previous 56 years combined. Trump filed for re-election hours after becoming president in 2017 and focused his 2020 campaign on crime. Starting in early 2020, he began sowing doubts about the election, baselessly claiming it would be rigged due to mail-in balloting. He repeatedly refused to commit to a peaceful transition of power if he lost. Joe Biden won the November 2020 election. Trump declared victory prematurely and days later baselessly alleged widespread election fraud. He and his allies filed numerous lawsuits challenging the results, which were rejected by at least 86 judges for lacking factual or legal basis. His allegations were also refuted by state election officials, and the Supreme Court declined to hear cases seeking to overturn results. Trump personally pressured officials at various levels to find votes or replace electors. He did not attend Biden's inauguration. During his first term, Trump granted 237 clemency requests, fewer than most presidents since 1900. Only 25 of these were vetted by the Justice Department. The others went to individuals with personal or political connections. On his last full day in office, he granted 73 pardons and commuted 70 sentences. The pardons of 3 military service members convicted of violent crimes were notably opposed by military leaders. And that's a comprehensive look at the remarkable and often tumultuous career of Donald John Trump, a figure who has undeniably left an indelible mark on American politics and society. What are your thoughts? Let us know in the comments below. Stay with us by subscribing to our channel to learn about the biographies of such adventurous individuals.